the proceedings of this session. Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, Excellencies from BIMSTEC countries, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. I am privileged to extend a very warm welcome to all the dignitaries at Prarambh, a day of pride for India's entrepreneurial and technology excellence. We are truly honored to have with us today Shri Narendra Modi ji, Honorable Prime Minister of India. Thank you, Prime Minister, for being with us today as we celebrate the remarkable success of Startup India initiative conceptualized and implemented by you 5 years ago. Startup India is a very powerful message that was coined by the Prime Minister 5 years ago and has today become a clarion call for one of India's most successful and impactful initiatives. Over these years, Startup India has played a pivotal role in boosting the spirit of entrepreneurship in every corner of the country. I recollect today of friends that 35 years ago, I was a startup entrepreneur as well. And therefore, I can relate to the spirit of entrepreneurship, which I can see flowering and booming under the Prime Minister's leadership in every nook and corner of India. Prime Minister, your leadership from the front, your inspiring mission mode approach for management of technology, your encouragement for competitiveness and innovation for startups has driven this success, where India is now one of the 3 startup nations at the top in the world. We in Indian industry compliment you on this outstanding vision and achievement, which for some of our foreign friends means a new start, has brought together several nations to exchange knowledge and to combine innovative and entrepreneurial forces that go a long way in designing, developing and deploying shared solutions. The summit augments the Prime Minister's vision to develop and expand India's relationship with the BIMSTEC member countries. The reflect innovation capabilities of countries' entrepreneurship. There are new ways for creating wealth and simultaneously generating employment in the quickest possible manner. Prime Minister, 3 people, when I started, we have 70,000 people, and I'm sure startups across the country will flower and create jobs and livelihood for many, many Indians and people around in the region as well. The startups are solving development challenges, cutting-edge solutions in the areas of education, healthcare, manufacturing, e-commerce, fintech, and many more areas. India with most vibrant and dynamic hotspots. Our unicorn numbers are growing by leaps and bounds. I would like to emphasize that successful startup ecosystems are not just about startups, but also over time, they create large companies which promote and also encourage other startups. The corporate startup partnership has resulted in a win-win collaboration. Corporate sector must be an important partner and with startups and SMEs. SMEs can also flourish in the future. Through innovative programs, they must create seed startups, and corporates must go out of their way to support the startup ecosystem in line with the government's vision and the Prime Minister's vision. Success of startups depends on complete innovation, financing ecosystem comprising of incubators, providing appropriate technology, hardware systems, effective mentoring, easy access to finance, and assistance on marketing of products and services. Such holistic ecosystems have played a crucial role in startup havens like Silicon Valley, Cambridge of the UK, Tel Aviv, and Bengaluru. Last 2 days at Prarambh have brought together some of the best entrepreneurial minds from India, BIMSTEC, and the rest of the world. An outstanding set of ideas and collaborations have been discussed here to set the platform next wave of startup growth, not just in India, but in the entire global business community. Prarambh marks the beginning of next movement of innovation-driven entrepreneurship, and we very much look forward to the next level of success under the leadership of the Prime Minister. I once again extend a very warm welcome to all the esteemed dignitaries and participants today. With that, may I now request Dr. Guruprasad Mahapatra, Secretary DPIIT, to take us through the startup journey of India. Dr. Mahapatra, please.
Honorable Prime Minister of India, Honorable Minister of Commerce of Industry, Government of India, Honorable Minister of State for Commerce and Industry, Sri Puri ji, Honorable Union Ministers, Honorable Chief Ministers and Minister of States, Honorable Ministers from BIMSTEC countries, Honorable Secretary General BIMSTEC, senior leaders from industry and academia, my colleagues from Government of India and states, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by extending a very warm welcome to Honorable Prime Minister and thank him for his august presence. I am privileged to address this esteemed gathering at the Grand Plenary Session of Prarambh Startup India International Summit 2021. Today is an important day in India's fight against the COVID-19 pandemic as our Honorable Prime Minister launched the nationwide vaccine drive. As India comes out of the debilitating effects of the pandemic and continues with its upward growth, the government shows its commitment towards the startup community by holding this International Startup Conclave. This summit has been organized as a follow-up to the Honorable Prime Minister's announcement in the plenary session of the 4th BIMSTEC Summit held in Kathmandu, Nepal on August 30-31st, 2018 to host the BIMSTEC Startup Conclave. I am proud to share that the summit has been seen active participation from the BIMSTEC member states. I am happy to share that over the last 2 days, we have seen encouraging participation from senior government representatives, distinguished speakers, and startups from BIMSTEC member states. A detailed report on the proceedings of the BIMSTEC specific sessions will be presented by my colleague, Secretary East from NEA. We look forward to further engagements for strengthening our innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystems. In 2016, when Startup India initiative was launched, there was very limited appreciation of startup as a concept within government, industry, academia, and investors. Over the last 5 years, we have taken several measures to build a thriving ecosystem for startups, starting with simplification of rules, handholding, and incentivizing innovators, enhancing funding opportunities, and strengthening partnerships with academic institutions and industry. In a federal structure like ours, the states have a major role to play in taking the right measures at the ground level. We are very sincerely focused on building capacities at local levels by means of our states ranking on support to startup ecosystems to direct their efforts towards the desirable directions. These efforts have started delivering tangible results. Our innovators are excelling in all areas of human endeavor, agriculture to health, energy to education, finance to industry 4.0, tourism to space. They are making notable innovations everywhere. As we celebrate the breadth and depth in entrepreneurship based on innovation in the country, it's now time to make efforts to explore new horizons, attain greater heights. Prarambh implies an auspicious start. It also implies the perseverance that's needed for an entrepreneur to succeed despite setbacks. The objective of the Startup India International Summit is to create a collaborative platform for knowledge exchange on best practices, mobilizing domestic and global capital, providing access to domestic and international markets for startups, all with a view to encourage and inspire the youth of the country towards innovation-based entrepreneurship. Honorable Prime Minister has been the visionary and architect of this movement. Sir, you had launched the Startup India initiative on 16th January 2016. On its 5th anniversary today, we are indeed privileged to have your presence today. This Prarambh, which started yesterday, sir, saw more than 1.2 lakh registrations from 56 countries. Over the last 2 days, we have seen very active participation of delegates from all our states and union territories, demonstrating the interest our ecosystem is generating beyond our borders. This summit was designed for having focused discussion on all dimensions related to creating a thriving and sustainable ecosystem in India for innovation, creating a viable businesses and delivering social goals. We have seen serious exchange of views getting crystallized into concrete recommendations for the way ahead. The importance assigned by this government to the startup ecosystem is evident by participation of senior ministers, senior government officials and regulators to engage with all stakeholders. We have had a closed-door roundtable on mobilizing domestic capital for startups. We are honored that the Honorable Finance Minister, Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman ji, chaired the discussions despite her preoccupation with the forthcoming budget. A closed-door roundtable on mobilizing global capital was chaired by Honorable Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal ji. I am very happy to inform that our Honorable PM that the global investors from countries in different time zones like Singapore, Japan and USA attended this past midnight in their own countries. 58 funds with more than 40 billion USD investments in India along with 30 regulators attended this important late night session. Both the roundtables saw participation of global industry and investment specialists and all the relevant regulators. We have had meaningful discussions and we are confident of many positive outcomes. The virtual startup showcase at the summit saw participation of about 1,100 high-quality innovations from across the length and breadth of the country, as well as from BIMSTEC countries. More than 10,000 people visited and interacted with the startup participants. Another highlight of this summit has been holding of 108 B2B sessions between startups and potential investors. We are sure of many growth stories resulting from these discussions. The summit has laid the foundation of multilateral cooperation and engagement of our youth with countries around the world as they expand their wings of entrepreneurship. We now look forward to us incorporating the key recommendations from the summit and the directions that you provide today, sir, and build on the incredible progress that has been made over the last 5 years under the Startup India initiative. Before I conclude, I would like to thank the esteemed speakers for taking out the time and joining us for this extremely important summit and share their views and ignite the minds of young innovators. I would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the efforts of the Minister of External Affairs who have proactively helped us organize this multilateral summit. I would also like to thank our partners Invest India, FICCI, CII, India Angel Network, TAI, NASCOM, IVCA and IFC who contributed to making the inaugural Startup India International Summit a grand success. I thank you all for joining us for this extremely important landmark event and look forward to engaging with each and every one of you to collectively work towards taking the Indian startup ecosystem to greater heights. Thank you once again, Honorable Prime Minister ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mahavasram, for taking us through the very inspiring journey of Startup India. I would once again like to congratulate you and Team India for the success of Prarambh. I will now request Ms. Riva Ganguly Das, Secretary East, Ministry of External Affairs, to share a brief report on the proceedings of the BIMSTEC Startup Conclave. Ms. Das, please.
And senior officials from BIMSTEC countries, Honorable Union Ministers, Chief Ministers, Ministers of State, Government of India and State Ministers, His Excellency Secretary General of BIMSTEC, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor and privilege to report the proceedings of the BIMSTEC Startup Conclave, which was held yesterday as part of the Startup India International Summit. At the outset, we thank Honorable Prime Minister for offering to host the BIMSTEC Startup Conclave at the last BIMSTEC Summit in Kathmandu, with the objective to enhance connectivity among the entrepreneurs of the region. The proposal received an overwhelming support of all BIMSTEC leaders. Sir, I have the honor to state that the BIMSTEC Startup Conclave was organized successfully yesterday. All BIMSTEC countries participated in the event with great enthusiasm. Honorable Commerce and Industry Minister chaired the inaugural session. Honorable Ministers from Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal and Sri Lanka, Executive Director of National Innovation Agency of Thailand and Secretary General of BIMSTEC addressed the event. They all welcomed the initiative and informed about the policy decisions taken by them to create an enabling environment for innovation and startups in their respective countries. It was evident that there is a clear direction and commitment from BIMSTEC leadership to promote startup ecosystem in the region. Recognition of the role of startups in speedy economic recovery of the region in the post-COVID era was also highlighted. It was noted that the youth of the region would be greatly benefited by a vibrant startup ecosystem which would generate employment and create space for innovative ventures. Sir, the inaugural session threw some excellent ideas, including a suggestion to establish a BIMSTEC startup hub to bring together ideas, experiences and best practices. There were also suggestions to hold such conclave on an annual basis and promote collaboration among the startups, innovators, entrepreneurs and investors in the region through social media and cross-border digital platforms. Honorable Minister from Bangladesh invited startups in the BIMSTEC region to apply for the Bangabandhu Innovation Grant. Sir, the inaugural session was followed by panel discussions on themes of sharing best practices, knowledge exchange workshops, multilateral incubator programs, and promoting social innovations. Panelists from all BIMSTEC countries participated in the discussions. These discussions came up with some useful takeaways on how to create a sustainable environment for startups and inculcate startup culture in the region. It was noted that the startup ecosystem in BIMSTEC countries are at different levels of maturity and size. Hence, there is immense scope for sharing best practices amongst them. Need was felt to facilitate cross-border venture capital investments, repatriation of capital gains without taxes, and harmonization of regulations for greater cooperation among entrepreneurs. It was recommended that women entrepreneurs need to be an integral part of the startup ecosystem. Their financial inclusion and technological empowerment needs attention. It was felt that adequate market access is vital for startups. The government and financial institutions should establish better payment systems to facilitate market access. It was noted that door-to-door services and online presence are crucial for startups to establish themselves in the market. The startups must have a clear go-to-market strategy to ensure that the innovation thrives in the marketplace and results in good business. Startups in the region have been looking for global exposure. COVID has made them virtual. Thus a challenge has been turned into an opportunity. These young entrepreneurs from BIMSTEC have actually moved closer to the world. Role of social innovations in addressing the problems of poverty, healthcare, urban migration, etc. in the region was noted. It was emphasized that businesses need to be more accountable and work towards creating social impact. Data and technology can play an important role in addressing social issues. Sir, in parallel to the panel discussions, a virtual startup showcase was organized in which over 100 startups from BIMSTEC countries participated. Later in this session, select startups from BIMSTEC countries will have an opportunity to interact with you. Sir, to summarize, the conclave was an excellent opportunity to bring together startups, policymakers, investors, and other stakeholders of the BIMSTEC region on one platform. This is the first step in achieving our common objective of enhancing connectivity among entrepreneurs in the region and strengthen cross-border cooperation. Encouraged with the resounding success of this conclave, we are confident that the promotion of startups will gain a high priority in the cooperation agenda agenda of the BIMSTEC framework. We hope that the recommendations emerging from the conclave will receive support of BIMSTEC member states. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Das, for your address. The collaboration between India and BIMSTEC will continue to go from strength to strength, and we look forward to forging more such collaborations towards a robust, multilateral innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege to announce momentous launch of some landmark initiatives today. Please join me in inviting Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, our chief guest this evening, to launch the program Startup Champions on Doordarshan. Mr. Prime Minister, sir.
समृद्ध और आत्मनिर्भर भारत के निर्माण के लिए चुनौतियों को संभावनाओं में, आपदाओं को अवसरों में बदलना, प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के इस मंत्र को लेकर देश लगातार आगे बढ़ रहा है। युवा देश के इस संकल्प के साथ भारत को स्टार्टअप हब बनाने के लिए हमारे युवाओं की प्रतिभा, हुनर और हौसलों को संजोया गया है संसाधनों और इंक्यूबेशन इकोसिस्टम के माध्यम से। यही कारण है भारत 5 वर्षों में दुनिया का सबसे तेजी से बढ़ता हुआ स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम बनकर उभरा है। देश के 590 जिलों में 41,000 से ज्यादा स्टार्टअप शुरू हुए हैं। औसतन एक स्टार्टअप दे रहा है 11 लोगों को सीधे रोजगार। स्टार्टअप में 44% की हिस्सेदारी महिला उद्यमियों की है। स्टार्टअप इंडिया से जुड़े युवाओं के हौसलों को सराहने का एक अहम साधन बने नेशनल स्टार्टअप अवार्ड। ऐसे ही अवार्ड विनिंग स्टार्टअप्स के इनोवेटिव सोच और प्रेरक अप्रोच की असाधारण कहानियों को संजोता खास कार्यक्रम है स्टार्टअप चैंपियंस।
We have created 150 fodder entrepreneurs. The ecosystem was really well established, and now I think we are in the right time where we can use the ecosystem as well as the policies which will help us to build stuff in India.
12 क्षेत्रों में 35 श्रेणियां, कृषि से लेकर उद्योग जगत तक, ऊर्जा से लेकर अंतरिक्ष जगत तक, देश के अलग अलग भागों से स्टार्टअप की सफलता की कहानियां। आज माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के द्वारा इस विशेष कार्यक्रम स्टार्टअप चैंपियंस का शुभारंभ हो रहा है, जो देखा जा सकेगा आपके अपने दूरदर्शन नेटवर्क पर।
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. I am pleased to share with the audience and for all that the first Hindi episode of the program Startup Champions will be telecast on Doordarshan News at 9 p.m. today and on Doordarshan National at 6 p.m. tomorrow. The first English episode will be telecast on Doordarshan India at 10 p.m. today. It will be a 1-hour weekly program for a span of 12 weeks. It is now my privilege to invite Honorable Prime Minister for the launch of 2 important reports: Evolution of Startup India and Startup India, the way ahead. Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. The evolution of Startup India captures the 5-year journey of Startup India initiative since its inception. It details various steps taken by the central and state government for strengthening the startup ecosystem in the country. The Startup India, the way forward, identifies key objectives for further expansion of our innovation ecosystem and includes actionable plans to catalyze efforts of the stakeholders towards the objective of making India a global startup hub. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we come to our most awaited and unique part of the program today. We have selected some startups from across the country to display the depth and spread of entrepreneurship based on innovation in India. We also have some startups from BIMSTEC countries. I would now request Shri Anil Agarwal, Joint Secretary, DPIIT, to moderate this session. Over to Mr. Anil Agarwal.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kotak. It is an honor and privilege for me to present some startups who are doing exceptional work in various sectors of economy across the country. First, we have Mr. Dinesh Kanagaraj at Chennai. They have developed a unique 3D printer which uses carbon fiber as the raw material. There are very few companies in the world which have this technology. Mr. Dinesh, please.
Thank you, Mr. Anilji. Namaste, Honorable Prime Minister ji. It is a great pleasure and my honor to interact with you today. I am Dinesh and I am the founder and CEO of Fabits. Before founding Fabits, I used to work with ISRO for several years. And it is during my time in ISRO where I had the inspiration towards developing a new manufacturing technology of what we are doing right now. You see, in ISRO, we used to develop a lot of carbon fiber components, not just for ISRO, but even if you look at HAL's Tejas aircraft, even here almost 75% of the structure is made with carbon fiber. But the downside, they are all made by completely manual processes. And it takes a very long time and is also very expensive to make this. And that is where our unique 3D printing technology using continuous carbon fiber can automate this and also do it faster and actually cheaper. To give you an idea, this carbon fiber drone that you see here, this is done in just one day in our mission, while this will take about 4 to 5 days using any traditional manufacturing process. This is the kind of advantage what our technology can offer. And thanks to various Startup India initiatives, we were also able to incorporate our technology in various defense PSUs also in the last 1 year. So via various events like IDEX, DRDO's Dare to Dream Innovation Awards and several other initiatives like that, we were able to get a lot of pilot projects. And we are right now also supplying drones via one of our partners to Indian Navy also. And these are some of the advantages, of course, via the Startup India program that we got. The other biggest advantage that we were able to get is the fast track patenting process. So typically in our areas where we are developing hardcore technology like this, patenting is a very crucial part. And we were able to get patenting in less than 6 to 8 months, which is usually used to take about 2 to 3 years. This is a very big advantage, not just from our market penetration perspective, but also during our fundraising activities. This has really helped us a lot. I thank you very much from the deep of my heart for making these initiatives. And we also look forward to having more such initiatives in the future. Thank you, Ji. Look forward to more.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dinesh. At Chennai, we also have Dr. Rachna Dave. They have contributed immensely to our efforts of disinfection and sanitization during COVID times. Dr. Rachna Dave, please.
नमस्कार सर, मेरा नाम डॉक्टर रचना दवे है। सर, माइक्रोगो में हम माइक्रो स्वच्छता पे काम करते हैं। ये वह स्वच्छता है जो आपको न दिखने वाले बैक्टीरिया और वायरस के खिलाफ लड़ती है। सर, हम मनुष्य की 3 सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीजों पे काम करते हैं: फूड, वाटर और हेल्थ केयर। माइक्रोगो सर जो भी टेक्नोलॉजी बनाती है वो 3 सिद्धांतों पे बनाती है। इट शुड सेव लाइफ, it should save valuable resources and it should digitalize hygiene. सर, जब ये आपके सामने एक एग्जाम्पल है गो अश्योर, सर ये भारत का पहला और एकमात्र हैंड हाइजीन स्टेशन है जो आपको WHO रिकमेंडेड हैंड हाइजीन फॉलो करने में मदद करता है. सर ये IoT एनेबल्ड है, तो आप आपके सारे प्रोटोकॉल्स को, स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसीजर्स को डिजिटली मॉनिटर कर सकते हैं. सर ये वाली मशीन एक बार हैंड वॉश में 2.2 लीटर्स ऑफ पानी बचाती है, बिजली बचाती है और काफी सारी धनराशि भी बचाती है. सर जब कोविड-19 की शुरुआत हुई, हमने पहला इंस्टॉलेशन 11 जनवरी 2020 में चेन्नई अंतर्राष्ट्रीय एयरपोर्ट पे किया. एयरपोर्ट अथॉरिटीज ऑफ इंडिया के साथ मिलकर हमने प्रोटोकॉल्स बनाए. सर बड़े गर्व के साथ मुझे आपको आज कहने में खुशी हो रही है कि हमने भारत के हर कोने को छूने की कोशिश की है. लेह से लेके कन्याकुमारी तक, तेजपुर आसाम से लेके भावनगर तक. सर हमने 50 लाख से भी ज्यादा हैंड हाइजीन सही तरीके से करवाए हैं. सर आज तक की हमारी जर्नी में हमारे अकेले के साथ ये जो स्टार्टअप इंडिया का जो ये इकोसिस्टम है उसने बहुत बड़ा योगदान दिया है. सर मैंने 2016 में भाभा एटॉमिक रिसर्च सेंटर की नौकरी छोड़ के ये स्टार्टअप शुरू किया. मैं आज भी सबको हर्ष से बताती हूँ कि हमने जब स्टार्टअप का जो रजिस्ट्रेशन किया था वो एक क्रेडिट कार्ड के पेमेंट की तरह था, इतना सिंपल, आधे दिन में. सर हमारी जो पहली पैटेंट थी वो एप्लीकेशन से ग्रांट तक हमें 90 दिन में हासिल हुई, 90 डेज सर. सर इसके साथ साथ इन्वेस्ट इंडिया, बायरैक, DST, DBT, NASSCOM, ACT ग्रांट से सबने हमें बहुत सपोर्ट किया है. सर अंत में ये जो आपने स्वच्छता की मुहिम शुरू की है, माइक्रोगो ने एक छोटी सी कड़ी माइक्रो स्वच्छता की जोड़ी है. सर हम तब तक काम करते रहेंगे जब तक भारत स्वच्छता और माइक्रो स्वच्छता के साथ मिलके एक संपूर्ण स्वच्छ भारत नहीं बन जाता. नमस्कार.
धन्यवाद डॉक्टर रचना. Moving on to Ernakulam, Mr. James Joseph. They have developed a patented technology to use katahal, that is jackfruit, to effectively counter diabetes. They have also been able to augment farmers' incomes substantially. Mr. James Joseph at Ernakulam, please.
Thank you, sir. I'm James Joseph, founder, jackfruit365.com, National Startup Award for Food Processing. Our invention is a patented flour or atta from jackfruit or kathal to control blood sugar of diabetes patients. Our clinical study presented at the American Diabetes Association's conference has shown that adding 1 tablespoon of jackfruit atta in our breakfast, lunch and dinner with our traditional meal like roti or dosa can control daily blood sugar, and in 3 months it can reduce average blood sugar level known as HbA1c. This simple solution through our traditional food was inspired by a meeting with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in 2014. Earlier, jackfruits from Kerala had to travel all the way to Asadpur Sabji Mandi in Delhi for the farmers to have any income. Now we buy jackfruit from the farmers in Kerala, convert that to jackfruit atta and sell this across 5,000 kirana shops to supermarkets in Kerala itself and through online across India. This has not only increased income for farmers, it has reduced the cost of medication for diabetic patients. Prime Minister, our vision is to source every jackfruit in India from Kerala to Tripura and convert that to jackfruit atta to control India's diabetes by just adding 1 tablespoon when we make our normal roti or dosa every day. We thank you for giving us this opportunity to share our invention and our vision for India. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Moving on to Bhopal. This startup at Bhopal has developed smart e-toilets and other public convenience services that can be retrofitted at any transit locations. I would now request Mr. Ashutosh Goswami from Bhopal to let us know about his product.
नमस्कार सर, मेरा नाम आशुतोष गिरी, फाउंडर एंड सीईओ फ्रेश रूम्स। सर, आपके स्वच्छ भारत मिशन के बाद हमने हाइजीन मेंटेनेंस के ऊपर काम किया और हमने विश्व का पहला क्लाउड एंड आईओटी बेस्ड टेक्नोलॉजी पर बेस्ड 5 स्टार टॉयलेट्स का निर्माण किया है सर। ये मोबाइल एप्स के द्वारा संचालित है। इस स्मार्ट टॉयलेट्स में हम हर साल 40% पानी की बचत कर सकते हैं। गवर्नमेंट का मेंटेनेंस पे खर्च होने वाला पैसा शून्य हो जाएगा। इसमें हमने वुमेन हाइजीन और सेफ्टी पे पूरा ध्यान दिया है और इसमें हेल्थ क्लिनिक, नैप जोन जैसी सुविधाएं भी उपलब्ध हैं। सर, हर एक स्मार्ट टॉयलेट्स में कम से कम 4 लोगों को रोजगार दिया जा सकता है। अभी स्टार्टअप इंडिया के हेल्प से हम 100 ऐसे स्मार्ट टॉयलेट्स का निर्माण कर रहे हैं। सर, हम आगे 2024 तक ऐसे 5000 टॉयलेट्स का निर्माण करना चाहते हैं, जिससे कि हम विश्व में हमारे भारत की टॉयलेट इमेज को बदल सकें। सर, एक बात और कहना चाहूंगा, हमने भारत में पहली बार कंप्लीट ऑटोमेटिक टचलेस ऑटोमेटिक टॉयलेट शीट का प्रयोग किया है। हमारा सिर्फ एक ही मंत्र है, आत्मनिर्भर भारत और स्मार्ट भारत। सर, धन्यवाद सर।
धन्यवाद आशुतोष जी। Contributing to safety of our frontline health workers during the fight against COVID, we have Dr. Pawan Mehrotra from Greater Noida. They have developed reusable, biodegradable, personal protective kit overalls. Dr. Pawan Mehrotra from Greater Noida, please.
आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, भारत के युवा इनोवेटर्स के बिहाफ पर मेरा नमन स्वीकार करें। कोरोना संक्रमित रोगियों के उपचार के दौरान संक्रमण से बचने के लिए डॉक्टर, नर्स तथा अन्य कर्मचारी पीपीई किट्स पहनते हैं, लेकिन इसे पहनने वाले डॉक्टर आदि को काफी दिक्कत होती है और साथ ही इसे पहनने के बाद उतारी हुई पीपीई किट से बहुत ज्यादा मात्रा में बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट इकट्ठा हो जाता है। यह बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट को अस्पतालों की लिमिटेड जगह में रखना और फिर डिस्पोज करना एक नई चुनौती की तरह है। मेरा नाम डॉक्टर पवन मेहरोत्रा है। हमारी उत्तर प्रदेश नोएडा स्थित सामाजिक संस्था आरना बायोमेडिकल प्रोडक्ट्स ने इस पीपीई किट से होने वाली समस्या का हल सुरक्षा नामक पीपीई किट बनाकर किया है। हमें इसमें 12 डीबीटी, आईकेपी हैदराबाद, आईआईटी कानपुर, वेंचर सेंटर पुणे, आईआईटी दिल्ली, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी की डॉक्टर उर्मी वाजपेयी, डीएम जीबी नगर का सहयोग मिला। सुरक्षा किट विशेष केमिकलों के जरिए धुलकर संक्रमण मुक्त की जा सकती है और साथ ही इसमें हवा बाहर की तरफ पास होती है, जिससे डॉक्टर आदि को पहनने में बिल्कुल परेशानी नहीं होती है, क्योंकि यह किट 10 बार से ज्यादा उपयोग कर सकते हैं। इसलिए प्रत्येक इस्तेमाल का खर्च मात्र 100 रुपए से भी कम आता है। साथ ही साथ इसमें बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट की जनरेशन भी 10 गुना कम हो जाती है, जिससे पर्यावरण की भी सुरक्षा होती है। इस वेस्ट को केमिकल से ट्रीटमेंट करके तकिए और गद्दे बनाए जा सकते हैं, जिसे फिर रोगियों के उपचार के लिए यूज किया जा सकता है। यह वेस्ट से वैल्यू का एक बहुत बड़ा उदाहरण है। डीआरडीओ दिल्ली, ओएफबी मुरादनगर से अप्रूवल मिली हमारी सुरक्षा किट को सहयोगियों ने भारत के विभिन्न शहरों तक पहुंचाया है और डॉक्टर आदि ने इसकी बहुत सराहना की है। प्रधानमंत्री जी, आपके वक्त और भारत सरकार के सपोर्ट के लिए धन्यवाद। 2 लाइंस कहूंगा। मुश्किलों से ही सही मंजिल तो मिल जाएगी, गुमराह तो वो हैं जो घर से निकले नहीं। प्रधानमंत्री जी, आपकी योजनाओं के चलते भारत के हर युवा का घर से निकलना प्रारंभ हो गया है। धन्यवाद।
At Ghaziabad, we have Shri Gaurav Mittal working in the field of augmented and virtual reality. They have developed ways of helping visually impaired persons to enable them to function independently. This company is based in Bangalore. However, he's been working from his home at Ghaziabad due to COVID. Mr. Gaurav Mittal, please.
नमस्कार आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, जैसा कि आपको ज्ञात है भारत में नेत्रहीनों की संख्या 80 लाख है जो विश्व में सबसे ज्यादा है। यदि आप देखें कि कितने ऐसे बच्चे हैं जो कॉलेज में पढ़ रहे हैं तो उनकी संख्या केवल 3000 है। हमने इसको बदलने का कदम उठाया है। पेरेंट्स इन नेत्रहीन बच्चों के क्या सोचते हैं कि मेरा छात्र वहां पर जाकर के घूमेगा कैसे, उसको बड़ी दिक्कत आएगी। हम पूरे कैंपस का एक 3D मैप बना करके एक मोबाइल फोन पर डाल देते हैं। अब एक नेत्रहीन छात्र पूरे कैंपस में बिना किसी छड़ी या मदद के घूम सकता है। ये टेक्नोलॉजी अभी हम बेंगलोर के एक प्रीमियर MBA संस्थान के साथ टेस्ट कर रहे हैं और मुझे बताते हुए आपको गर्व हो रहा है कि एक नेत्रहीन एम्प्लॉय वहां का जो 30 साल से काम कर रहा था, पिछले साल वो 1 किलोमीटर बिना किसी छड़ी की मदद के हमारे ऐप से चला। हमारे और प्रोडक्ट्स दुनिया भर में 70,000 नेत्रहीनों की 160 देशों में मदद कर रहे हैं, जिनमें से 40,000 भारत से आते हैं। मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा कि 2 साल पहले जब यही टेक्नोलॉजी बार्सिलोना में सिलेक्ट हुई थी स्पेनिश गवर्नमेंट से, तब हमको वहां पे कागजातों की जरूरत थी और स्टार्टअप इंडिया की टीम ने रिकॉर्ड समय में हमको एक कागज प्रदान कराए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद स्टार्टअप इंडिया इनिशिएटिव का। बहुत धन्यवाद प्रधानमंत्री जी।
थैंक यू गौरव जी। हमारे अगले स्टार्टअप सोनीपत हरियाणा के हैं। श्री सतीश कुमार से मिलिए, जिन्होंने ईंट बनाने की एक मशीन बनाई है जो 1200 ईंटें 1 घंटे में बना सकती है। श्री सतीश कुमार सोनीपत से।
हेलो, आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को मेरी SNPC टीम की तरफ से नमस्कार। मैं सतीश कुमार, डायरेक्टर SNPC मशीन प्राइवेट लिमिटेड सोनीपत हरियाणा से। सर, हमारी कंपनी ने ऐसी मशीन तैयार की है जिसका नाम मोबाइल ब्रिक मेकिंग मशीन है। यह पूरे विश्व में अपनी तरह की इकलौती मशीन है। इसके द्वारा 1 घंटे में 12,000 ब्रिक्स बनाती है ये, और फ्लाईएक्स मिक्स करने के बावजूद भी इसकी स्ट्रेंथ किसी अन्य ब्रिक्स से 3 गुना ज्यादा है। इसके द्वारा बनाई गई ब्रिक्स में पानी की मात्रा भी कम लगती है, जो कि हम पानी की बचत कर सकते हैं।
प्रधानमंत्री जी नमस्कार, मैं को फाउंडर विलास शिकार SNPC मशीन हरियाणा से। इस मशीन की एक सबसे बड़ी खूबी ये है कि इस मशीन को हम कहीं पे भी ले जाके किसी भी समय कितना ही प्रोडक्शन कर सकते हैं। 1 घंटे में 12,000 ईंट बनाने के साथ साथ में ये मशीन, जो कि 1 BHK घर में निर्माण में लगने वाली ईंटों के बराबर का निर्माण लगभग 90 मिनट में कर देती है। इसमें सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि कस्टमर इसको IoT के माध्यम से कहीं से भी मैनेज कंट्रोल कर सकता है। प्रधानमंत्री जी, मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा, अब तक हमने लगभग 400 से ज्यादा प्रत्यक्ष और अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से रोजगार उत्पन्न किए हैं तथा मेक इन इंडिया एक्सपोर्ट इनिशिएटिव के तहत लगभग 6 से ज्यादा देशों में इस मशीन का एक्सपोर्ट किया जा रहा है। प्रधानमंत्री जी, मैं आपको ये भी बताना चाहूंगा कि हम देश के पहले नेशनल स्टार्टअप अवार्ड के विनर भी हैं और हमारी इस सफलता में भारत सरकार की DPIIT और स्टार्टअप इंडिया का एक महत्वपूर्ण योगदान है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you. Now we look at this technology company from South Delhi, which is working in the field of cyber security. They have developed a totally indigenous cyber security tool for a complete technology stack of corporations. May I request Mr. Saket Modi to elaborate on his project, please?
मेरे देश के प्रधानमंत्री को मेरा और मेरे दोनों को फाउंडर्स विदित बख्शी और राहुल त्यागी का प्रणाम। सर, हमारी कहानी IIT बॉम्बे के कंप्यूटर साइंस लैब से शुरू हुई थी, जहां हमने साइबर सिक्योरिटी के बारे में सोचना शुरू किया। आज के दिन वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम के अनुसार साइबर सिक्योरिटी इज अमंग द टॉप 3 कंसर्न्स दैट इज ऑफ कंसर्न टू ह्यूमैनिटी। आपकी खुद के डिजिटल इंडिया स्पीच में जिस ब्लडलेस वॉर के बारे में आप कहते हो, उसको काउंटर करने के लिए हमारा सोल्यूशन यूजफुल है। सर, आज अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं आपके बॉडी का टेम्परेचर क्या है, आप एक थर्मामीटर लाओगे, अपने बॉडी पे लगाओगे और ये बता सकते हो कि आपके बॉडी का टेम्परेचर क्या है। पर आपके जैम योजना के कारण आज करीब करीब 60 करोड़ लोगों के पास स्मार्टफोन है। उसे वो यूज तो जरूर कर रहे हैं, पर वो कितना सिक्योर्ड है ये जानने के लिए उन्हें बहुत कठिनाई होती है। उन्हें कभी कोई ट्रेनिंग नहीं दी। उसको सॉल्व करने के लिए सर हमने एक फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन बनाया है जिसका नाम है सेफ मी, जिसको डाउनलोड करते ही आपके फोन पे कौन आपका डेटा देख रहा है, आपके कनेक्शन को कौन हैक कर रहा है, ये सारी जानकारी मिल जाती है और आपको एक स्कोर मिलता है 0 और 5 के बीच में। खाली इंडिविजुअल्स ही नहीं सर, कुछ दुनिया के सबसे बड़े कॉर्पोरेट्स को हम जाके उनके बड़े बड़े डेटा सेंटर्स में, जहां हजारों सर्वर्स, डेटाबेसेस, एप्लीकेशंस, क्लाउड वर्कलोड्स होते हैं, उन सबको रियल टाइम में एक साइबर सिक्योरिटी रिस्क पोस्चर देते हैं सर। ये जो स्कोरिंग एल्गोरिदम हमने बनाया है ये IIT बॉम्बे और US के MIT के साथ जॉइंट रिसर्च करके बनाया है सर, जिसका पेटेंट हमें एक रिकॉर्ड टाइम 6 महीने में मिल पाया थैंक्स टू द स्टार्टअप इंडिया इनिशिएटिव। सर ये सारे काम करने के लिए खाली ग्लोबली गूगल, फेसबुक, मॉर्गन स्टैनली ही नहीं, बट इंडिया की सबसे बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज जैसे ICICI बैंक, HDFC बैंक, SBI, ये सब हमारे कस्टमर्स हैं। हम ये बहुत प्राउडली कह सकते हैं कि हमारा प्रोडक्ट एक ट्रूली मेड इन इंडिया एंड मेड फॉर द वर्ल्ड प्रोडक्ट है। मैं और मेरे 200 लोगों की लूसिडस फैमिली की तरफ से आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और प्रणाम करता हूं सर।
Thank you, Saket. We now present this startup from Hyderabad who are working in the field of satellite launch vehicles. Mr. Pavan Chandana will tell us about one of the most cost-effective satellite launch vehicles being developed by them.
Mr. Prime Minister, sir, we are Pavan and Bharat, founders of Skyroot Aerospace, National Startup Award-winning space startup. Sir, we had the opportunity to meet you recently during the space reforms discussion along with ISRO Chairman Dr. K. Sivan. Sir, we at Skyroot are building advanced rockets which can be assembled within a day and launch satellites to space. Sir, we are building India's first, we are the first company to build a liquid rocket engine, a solid fuel rocket engine, and a 100% 3D printed cryogenic engine. Sir, typically it takes 2 years to build a cryogenic engine. We made this engine within 2 days using advanced 3D printing and also like using advanced materials like, very advanced super alloys. Sir, we are also for both our former scientists at ISRO, inspired by the Startup India program. We left our jobs and started Skyroot Aerospace in 2018. And also the recent space policy, sir, it gave life to our company by allowing private players to launch their own rockets, to build their own rockets. And also today we are able to utilize ISRO's facilities and ISRO's launch facilities, all thanks to you, sir. And also we named all our rockets after great Indian scientists. We named these rockets as Raman, Kalam and Dhawan, and our main rocket as Vikram, all in honor of our great Indian scientists.
And through our company, we are providing high-tech direct and indirect employment to over 100 employees and hopefully several thousands in the future. And our dream is to one day launch our own astronauts on our rockets. Sir, we will be doing our first launch to space this year and we need your blessings for the same. Skyroot will always strive to make India a global space superpower and make every Indian proud. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you. We shall now be presenting the startups nominated by BIMSTEC countries. From Bangladesh, we are joined by Mr. Wasim Alim. They are an e-commerce company providing online services for grocery and food products. Mr. Wasim Alim from Dhaka, please.
Your Excellency, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Honorable Ministers, fellow founders and delegates, Namaskar and good evening. It is a great honor to represent Bangladesh and have the opportunity to speak to you, Honorable Prime Minister. I am Wasim. I founded Chaldal along with 2 of my friends, Zia and Tejas, 8 years ago. We deliver groceries within 1 hour using a network of micro warehouses. We are now one of the largest retailers in Bangladesh. We are also the largest employer in the high-tech parks of Bangladesh and have created employment for 1,700 people. The demand for our services increased 3-fold in the past year. When the COVID lockdown started in Bangladesh, our team worked tirelessly to ensure that we delivered food to everyone who placed an order on our platform. We also helped to channel food donation to at-risk families in urban areas. I'm proud to say we did not have even a single day of downtime during the COVID crisis. Last month, we delivered 2 million items, mostly food and other essentials, to more than 120,000 families. We are also a partner of the UN World Food Programme to ensure food security in the Rohingya refugee camps in Cox's Bazar. Excellency, I've seen the Bangladeshi startup ecosystem grow rapidly during my career. There are more than 2,500 startups in Bangladesh now. 60% of our population of 160 million is below the age of 26, and they're very eager to make a difference and to drive the country forward. We have been blessed with a fast economic growth in the last decade thanks to the capable leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and her vision of digital Bangladesh. Your Excellency, I feel that there is an immense opportunity ahead of us for much greater collaboration between Bangladesh and its neighboring countries. In this world of technology, we can learn from each other greatly by sharing our knowledge and competence. Deeper regional ties can help us become a strong force of good globally. Excellency, I hope that you and our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will take this into consideration and ease the barriers between our countries, especially focusing on travel and capital flow. The VC ecosystem in Bangladesh can learn a lot from the experience of India, and I request you to encourage Indian venture capitalists to explore investment opportunities in neighboring countries. Thank you, Your Excellency, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much. From Bhutan, we are joined by Pikmi Pikm. They have developed artisanal premium chocolates which are fused with herbs, spices and fruits of Bhutan, known for their health benefits. Ms. Kinle from Thimphu, Bhutan.
Thank you. In the spirit of Prarambh, I would like to offer our heartfelt wishes for a great 2021 to the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, host of dignitaries and startups from BIMSTEC member countries. Immense gratitude to His Majesty, the King, Jigme Khesar Namgye Wangchuk, and our leaders who have given everything to keep us safe and sane, and this opportunity to participate and represent the country. Chocolate is what brought me here, so it is only fair that I take a bit of talk a bit about it. Yi means spirit, Ga means happy. So Yiga, we pioneered the chocolate industry in Bhutan and started in 2017 with comprehensive support from Lodin Foundation. We produce premium artisanal chocolate infused with Bhutanese superfoods traditionally known for healing benefits. Upgrading from chocolatier to bean to bar chocolate. And I'm pleased to appraise Your Excellency that our maiden bean to bar journey will start with the organic cacao beans from Kerala. It is a great honor representing our Bhutanese Association of Entrepreneurs, aspiring startups in this grand plenary session graced by Your Excellency. This unprecedented event is a testament of the entrepreneurial renaissance we are in. Not only was this summit possible at this very unlikely period, we are communicating digitally, safely and seamlessly. Thanks to all the coordinating embassies and consulates, and particularly Madam Ambassador Ruchira Kamboj and team who have been constant support to the startups here in Bhutan. Aware of the objectives and presence of all the lead enablers on this platform, we, the startups, will continuously seek to collaborate and co-create solutions for common problems. This unity and focus on startup ecosystem has inspired us to dream bigger and do more. We will look out for best practices and actively seek ways to innovate and co-create, and to fulfill the purpose of this great initiative. Cognizant of the potential of this space, we will look forward to work together and access international markets. With all this focused support at both regional and respective country level, it feels unethical not to proactively seek mindful growth and sustainable success. Mindful growth, we, the startups in Bhutan, guided by the development principle of gross national happiness, which translate at a global level to sustainable development goals and corporate social responsibility. We embrace our duty and obligation to fulfill our full potential and be part of the solution for the sustainable and resilient economy, and that would last for generations to come. We will dream bigger and do more. To the 5 years of Startup India and its evolution into Startup India International Summit. To Prarambh, the auspicious new beginning. Kadinche, Dhanyabad.
Thank you. From Myanmar, we are joined by Dr. Min Het. They have developed an after-school technology learning environment for children. Dr. Min from Yangon, Myanmar, please.
Namaste, Prime Minister. Good evening. Thank you so much for your invitation today, and it is such a great honor to speak with you today. My name is Min Het, and I'm co-founder of Little Co-Lab Technology and Innovation Center for Kids from Myanmar. We are after school and weekend tech learning environment for kids. We are teaching computer science and programming concept to kids from 5 to 14 years old. We also have other innovative courses like programming with the drones, building their own website, creating their mobile apps, robotics engineering, 3D printer and makers workshop, physical computing, and so much more. We have already received 11 international awards and recognition, including the recent ASEAN Business Award 2020, which is the most prestigious award in the region, and other awards such as Australia ASEAN Emerging Leader by the Australian government, What's the World Young Founder Under 35 from Germany, Myanmar Young Startup Award winner, and so much more. Our main vision is to change the negative screen addiction of kids just to play the games and playing the YouTube all the time to positive screen time of creating their own games, building their own website, and making their mobile apps, and so much more. We like to see them to become a tech entrepreneurs in the future, creating their own businesses and startups, contributing to the society, ASEAN region, and neighbor countries such as India. So that's pretty much about my startup, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. From Nepal, Mr. Vishwas Dhakal will tell us about his fintech company. They are providing online transaction, banking and payment services. Mr. Vishwas Dhakal from Kathmandu, Nepal.
आदरणीय सम्माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को समस्त नेपाली बिजनेस कम्युनिटी की तरफ से नमन करना चाहता हूं। F1 started its journey 17 years ago with one person, and today employ more than 800 people directly. Each of our employees are united by the belief that technology can improve people's life. Our objective is to connect people across Nepal to digital financial service in simple, affordable, and secure manner. I started my entrepreneurial career at the age of 22. In fact, we started Iseva, our mobile financial service, in 2009, which was not only the first in Nepal, but also the very first such service in the whole of South Asia. This was even before Paytm India. When we started Iseva, internet penetration in Nepal was very low. To make our service accessible to everyone, we pioneered the agent-based model, which brought Iseva to the farthest corner of Nepal. Today, our service is covered 50% of Nepalese population, which includes all the districts, even the most remote ones. In addition to the direct employment, we have provided livelihood to all our agents, whose number into 1 lakh today. For our contributions to improvement in people's life, digital inclusion, and contributions to the national economy, we have been received many awards. Today, we are the highest taxpayer in ICT segment. Our commitment to the national development remains as strong as ever. Most recent towards Digital Nepal mission, we were the first company to introduce QR-based payment. We thus work continuously to improve people's life through technology, reduce digital divide between rural and urban area. सम्पूर्ण नेपालीको तर्फबाट हृदयदेखि नै सम्माननीय प्रधानमन्त्री श्री नरेन्द्र मोदी जीलाई धन्यवाद ज्ञापन गर्न चाहन्छु. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Moving on to Sri Lanka, this software company connects a passenger with the nearest taxi that is available. We have Mr. Zulfar Zifri from Colombo to give us details of his endeavor.
Hi everyone, my name is Jeffrey Zulfar. It's an honor to be in front of you, Mr. Prime Minister. And also I would like to say that to all the guests that are here today, and to my Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Nama Rajapaksa, who's here, I'd like to thank you for inviting me for this occasion. My name is Jeffrey Zulfa. I am the founder and CEO of Pikmi. Pikmi is a mobility platform that connects passengers and taxi drivers. And also, we offer mobility of food and groceries in Sri Lanka. It is actually a privilege to be in this event today, and I'm also very fortunate that I have been able to study in India myself and been able to aspire to become an entrepreneur. So with that, I'd like to thank you for inviting me to this occasion. Thank you.
We are joined by Dr. Denchai from Thailand. Their company is addressing issues of energy losses in high-rise buildings and factories via smart IoT-based platforms based on machine learning. Dr. Denchai from Bangkok, Thailand, please.
Good evening, sir. Mr. Prime Minister, I'm Dr. Denchai Wardejamlan. I'm CEO and co-founder of TE Smart Solutions. We are smart building deep tech technology founded in 2018 and sponsored by the Ministry of Industry. We are in the growth stage right now. In Thailand, we provide a software as a service solution and a big data platform. Our technology can be used for all the building types and a factory. We provide our technology can diagnose and solve the energy loss. We guarantee energy saving at least 15% by average. Here is our, right now we are being tasked by more than 70 factory and building. For example, we already installed and sold a solution for Bank of Thailand, Stock Exchange of Thailand, and also Health Data Electronic Thailand to expand market. Here is our example technology. We also can provide our AIoT platform to correct all the data, and also we can correct all the data from all around the world. And also even we can use the data from building automation system. We use our data mapped into our big data AI platform, so we can perform for diagnostic and perform any saving for the any consumer. So in Southeast Asia, we also provide our freemium model platform for regional area. IoT and energy startup in Vietnam, Philippines, and Indonesia also can use our platform to expand their market and find out the right solution. TIE Smart Solution provide the official freemium model platform and also the upstream continuous control platform. For this solid plan, I would like to share this to the BIMTech startup member. Welcome to join our platform to get the energy saving solution without investment. For this opportunity, I would like to say thank you to the Mr. Prime Minister and the government of India for this initiative of the startup conclave for give opportunity for our startup member, BIMTech startup member participate in this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you. With this, we come to the end of the presentations by startups. I now request Mr. Uday Kotak to take the proceedings further. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Agarwal. Fascinating and diverse stories across India and the BIMSTEC region. As they say, may many flowers bloom in the building of nations. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great privilege to invite Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, to deliver the keynote address which all of us have been waiting for.
Youth energy, the dreams of the youth, so limitless, so colossal. You are all a fine example of these. I have been listening to you very carefully and watching you all very carefully. You must keep this confidence that you have. Now, think about it. What a wide range of startups there is. One startup was talking about carbon fiber 3D printers, and another one was talking about satellite launch vehicles. From e-toilets to biodegradable PPE kits, from making medicines for diabetes to bricklaying machines, and use of AR technology for differently abled people. Whatever startups you have talked about, tell us what great power you all possess to change the future. One more change that is now visible is that earlier, when some young person started a startup, people would say, why don't you get a job? Why a startup? But today, people say, job is all right, but why not create your own startup? And when you see youth who are already in startups, the first reaction is, wow, you have a startup? This change is a very big strength of BIMSTEC countries, meaning countries that take inspiration for development from the Bay of Bengal, more specifically Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and Thailand. Whether it is Indian startups or startups from BIMSTEC countries, we can see the same energy. The honorable ministers of BIMSTEC nations present here in this program today with me, from Bangladesh, Mr. Junaid Ahmed Palakji, from Bhutan, Mr. Limpo Loknath Sharmaji, from Myanmar, Mr. Uthaung Tung ji, from Nepal, Mr. Lekhraj Bhatt ji, from Sri Lanka, Mr. Namal Rajpaksha ji, and the Secretary General of BIMSTEC, Mr. Tenzin Lekpel ji, my colleagues from the cabinet, Mr. Piyush Goyal ji, Mr. Prakash Javadekar ji, Shri Hardeep Puri ji, Shri Som Prakash ji. From the industry, we have present here President of FICCI, Mr. Uday Shankar ji, Mr. Uday Kotak ji, Mr. Sanjeev Mehta ji, Dr. Sangeeta Reddy ji, Mr. Subrakant Panda ji, Mr. Sandeep Somani ji, Mr. Harsh Mariwala ji, Mr. Singhania ji, other excellencies, and my young friends from the startup world. Today is a day for all of us, a day of many new Prarambhs, which is auspicious start. Today, the first ever startup conclave of the BIMSTEC nations is being held. Today, India completes 5 successful years of its Startup India movement, and it is today that India has done the Prarambh, that is the start of the world's most historic, largest vaccination drive against corona. This day is testament to the capabilities of our scientists, our youth, and our entrepreneurs, and to the efforts and spirit of service of our doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers. From the fight against corona to the manufacturing of vaccines, the experiences that we have had, it is with these experiences that our youth and entrepreneurs of BIMSTEC nations are participating in this Prarambh Summit. And that is why this summit is even more important. I have been told that you have held several important discussions in the last 2 days, shared your startup success stories, and created new opportunities for mutual cooperation. The 12 sectors in which startup awards were started, the winners of these startup awards have also been announced. I congratulate all the winners for these awards. Friends, this is a century of digital revolution and new age innovations. And this century is also called the century of Asia. And therefore, it is the need of the times that the technology of the future is born in Asian labs, and that future entrepreneurs also are readied here, raised from our countries. And in order to achieve this, those Asian countries that can work together and can work for each other will need to come forward and take the responsibility. Those nations that not only have the means, but also have the spirit of cooperation. And therefore, this responsibility naturally comes to all of us BIMSTEC countries. Our centuries-old relations, our culture, civilization, and the shared legacy of our relations has bound all of us together. It is because we share our views that we can also share our ideas even more. It is because we share our happiness and sorrows that our success also will be shared. Besides this, we are working together for 1/5 of the world's population. Collectively, we also have the power of a $3.8 trillion GDP. In the energy that our youth possess, their impatience to write their own future, I see new possibilities for the entire world. Friends, that is the reason why in 2018 at the BIMSTEC Summit, I said that all our countries must get together in the area of technology and innovation. I had also mentioned a BIMSTEC Startup Conclave at that time. To realize the resolve, today we have all gathered here at this platform of the Startup India International Conclave. All BIMSTEC countries have been continuously working to increase mutual connectivity and to enhance trade relations. In 2018, BIMSTEC ministers participated in the India Mobile Congress to increase digital connectivity. Similarly, we are working together in the area of defense, in disaster management, in the area of space, environment, and agriculture, and in the area of trade. The stronger we become in all of these areas, the more modernized we become, the more beneficial it will be for our startups. This is a value creation cycle, meaning we are strengthening our relations in the areas of infrastructure, agriculture, and business, and this creates new opportunities for our startups. And the stronger our startups get, the more accelerated the development in all our sectors will be. Friends, on a personal level, all startups here are, of course, sharing their experiences with each other. However, in this massive journey of change, each country has its own experiences. With the aim to share its experiences of the last 5 years, India has issued a booklet titled Evolution of Startup India. I would like that each BIMSTEC country also shares its experiences regularly with each other in a similar manner. These experiences of yours will help all of us learn. For example, look at the 5-year startup journey of India. When the Startup India mission was started, we were faced with numerous challenges. But today, India is the world's 3rd largest startup ecosystem. Today, there are more than 41,000 startups that are involved in some campaign or the other in our country. Out of these, more than 5,700 startups are in the IT sector. More than 3,600 startups are in the health sector, and nearly 1,700 startups have shown their presence in the agriculture sector. Friends, these startups today are also changing the demographic characteristics of business. Today, in India, in 44% of the recognized startups, there is a woman director, and also a large number of women are working in these startups. Today, even a youth from an ordinary economic background can bring their talent and thinking to the ground. The outcome of this is right here in front of us today. In 2014, only 4 Indian startups were in the Unicorn Club, only 4. But today, more than 30 startups have crossed the 1 billion mark. You will be surprised that among these, 11 of our startups have joined the Unicorn Club in 2020, meaning in this difficult Corona times.
Friends, it was during the difficult time of the pandemic that India started the Self-Reliant India campaign. Today, our startups are playing a very important role in this as well. During the pandemic, when the world's biggest companies were struggling to survive, startups in India were creating a new force. The country needed sanitizers and PPE kits. We needed supply chains. Our startups played a very big role in these. The same way some startups started supporting locally to rose up to the occasion to fulfill local needs. One startup started delivering essential food-related products to homes. Some started doorstep delivery for medicines. Some startups created transportation solutions for frontline workers. Some others created online study material. Thus, these startups identified opportunities in the crisis and created trust during this calamity. Friends, today, these success stories of startups are not limited only to the big cities. You can see today 8 awards have been won by startups who are from small cities and not from the metros. Today, there are startups from Lucknow, Sonipat, Kochi, etc., from different small cities. Because today, every state in the world is a partner in the Startup India mission. Every state is supporting and incubating startups on the basis of its local possibilities. And the result of this is that today 80% of the districts in India are associated with the startup movement. 45% of our startups today are from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities and are working as brand ambassadors for local products. Friends, today there is a greater awareness among people with respect to their health and diet. There is a lot of change taking place in this area, and this too is creating new opportunities for startups. In a way, if there is one evergreen sector, then it is the food and agriculture sector. India has put a lot of emphasis on the growth of these sectors. In order to modernize agriculture-related infrastructure, a 1 trillion rupee agri fund has also been created. This will open new avenues for our startups. Today, startups are collaborating with farmers. Many startups are playing a role in ensuring that better quality food products reach more easily from the farm to the table. Friends, the biggest USP of our startup world is its disruption and diversification capacity. Disruption because today startups are giving rise to new approaches, new technology, and new practices. The thought process we earlier had of following a single path is being challenged by startups, being changed by them. And the second is diversification. You can see today how many startups are being set up and bringing with them new ideas, different ideas. These startups are present in every sector. They are creating a new revolution in every sector. Today, the scale that our startups have, the substance that they have is unprecedented. And most important, these startups are guided much more by passion than by pragmatism. Whenever new challenges are faced in any sector, then some startup or the other comes forward and says it will take up the challenge. India too is working today with this same startup spirit. Earlier, whenever any new situation arose, whenever something new had to be done, we would ask, who will do it? But today, the country itself says, we will do it. Whether it is digital payments, manufacturing in the solar sector, or the AI revolution, the country had hardly had to ask who will do it. The country decided we will do it. And the results are there for us to see. Today, Bhim UPI has revolutionize the payment system. In December, we had over 4 trillion rupees worth of transactions through UPI. In the solar sector as well, India is moving forward to become a world leader in this area. As per recent studies that were conducted, like big countries in the world, India too is increasing its use of AI at a very fast pace. Friends, just like startups break down barriers in any field and provide solutions, in the same way, India today is breaking down old barriers in every field. Today, the poor, the farmers, and students are receiving financial aid directly in their bank accounts through DBT or direct benefits transfer. This gives ordinary people relief from the problems they used to face, and through direct benefits transfer, the country was able to stop leakage of 2 trillion rupees. The same way today, Digital India is providing directly on your mobile phones more services related to government and to banking. Startups themselves are experiencing these changes in the country. Today, through the GEM portal, startups have as much opportunity to participate in government tenders as big companies have. So far, about 8,000 startups have been registered on the GEM portal, and they have also done business worth approximately 2,300 crores. The total business done on the GEM portal has now reached 80 billion rupees. In the time to come, the share of startups will further increase. This money will reach our startups, no doubt, but local manufacturing will also increase, and a large number of jobs will be created for our youth, and startups will invest more in research and in innovation. Friends, we are taking some important steps in the country to ensure that our startups do not face a shortage of capital. And in this regard, I am making a very important announcement today during this program. In order to provide initial capital to startups, the country is launching Startup India Seed Fund worth 1,000 crores. This will help to start and grow new startups. Through the Fund of Funds scheme, startups have already been receiving assistance to raise equity capital. Going forward, the government will also help startups to raise debt capital by providing guarantees. Friends, India is trying to create a startup ecosystem which will be based on the key principle of the youth, by the youth, for the youth. Through the Startup India initiative, our youth have, in the last 5 years, created a very strong foundation for this. Now, we have to decide our goals for the next 5 years. And our goal should now be that our startups, our unicorns, emerge as global giants. Our startups should lead in the area of futuristic technologies. If this resolve is the collective resolve of all BIMSTEC countries, then a very large population will benefit from it. The lives of people in all our countries will improve. When I see and hear the success stories of startups from BIMSTEC countries, I am even happier. My best wishes to all the startups from BIMSTEC countries. I am sure that during this new decade, we can together create a greater recognition for startups in this entire region. We will make the entire world realize the strength of startups from BIMSTEC countries. With these good wishes, I thank you all very much and my very best wishes to all of you.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister, for highly motivating words. You have truly sparked a new wave of enthusiasm and energy amongst innovators and entrepreneurs. Your comments and inputs into how the startup ecosystem is leading to diversity of gender, diversity for age in favor of the youth, diversity of geography with the spread of startups across geographies, and diversity of business models, in addition to diversity of mindset from pragmatism to passion. Prime Minister, we also thank you for the announcement of a Startup India Seed Fund, as also providing debt capital with appropriate guarantees. It is measures like these which give confidence for entrepreneurs to go ahead and set up ventures with risk. In that context, Prime Minister, I would also like to say that this will lead India to emerge as a global startup hub for the world, and the collaboration between India and the other BIMSTEC countries will also increase. It is truly path-breaking as we go forward. Sir, we complete 5 years of Prarambh, but today I would like to say it is Prarambh again. We start today to lead to innovation and revolution for the tomorrow in front of us. Once again, sir, on behalf of all, I thank the Honorable Prime Minister, sir, for being here with us today, as also ministers of BIMSTEC countries and India, all the participants, and of course, my fellow startup entrepreneurs. Thank you very much. Good day.